Hey guys, Movie Fan 256 here, coming at you with another review for Halloween Horror Month. I know it's been a little bit since a horror review for Halloween Horror Month, but I was way ahead. So I'm like, yeah, I'll lay low for a couple days on the horror reviews, as long as I get all the ones I had planned up in time. And today, we're talking about Trick or Treat. Now, this is not the Ozzy Osbourne, Gene Simmons 1980s Trick or Treat, which that's a pretty decent flick too. Go check that out. But today we're talking about the 2007 film Trick or Treat that was written and directed by Michael Daughtry. Um, and basically, the plot is there's four storylines going on with each other. This is a Halloween horror anthology film, really. It's kind of like a Tales from the Crypt type thing going on. And but I'm gonna give you little descriptions of each of the four plots going on because there's four of them going. The first plot is we meet Dylan Baker's character, which you guys might recognize Dylan Baker from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films as Dr. Connors. He's also in a numerous amount of other stuff, but he's playing this principal, and he's a very sick dude. He's a sick individual, and um, he's without kind of giving anything away, he's poisoning kids and killing them, and his kid's always interrupting him, and he's being annoying as fuck. Um, and so he's a sick individual. The next storyline is we see Laurie, who's played by Anna Paquin, and no, it's not Laurie Strode. It's kind of weird though. Laurie, one of the main characters of a Halloween movie that's not a Halloween movie. Um, we meet Laurie, who's played by Anna Paquin, and her sister, and their friends. Uh, they're gonna have a party in the middle of the woods, and her sister and her friends are trying to hook her up with a guy because she's a virgin, and so her storyline revolves around her trying to get to this party and communicating with her sister along the way about different guys that she could hook up with. Um, the next storyline is we see these group of kids who are going to this abandoned rock quarry to honor these dead mentally challenged kids who were killed years before and at that rock quarry, and they're going there to honor them and play pranks without kind of giving too much away. And finally, the fourth plot line is we see this Scrooge-like guy who's played by Brian Cox, who's in a numerous amount of stuff. X2, uh, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Red Eye. I mean, there's Brian Cox is in a lot of shit. The Bourne movies. Um, and he's like a Scrooge type character who just hates Halloween. Trick or treaters come at his door and he scares them off. He doesn't give them treats, and he stays at home. Doesn't like the idea of Halloween. Doesn't like anything about Halloween. And there's some stuff that happens with him. And those are basically descriptions of the four plot lines that are going on in this film. And of course, by the end, they kind of all tie in together without spoiling anything. But it is a cool way how they tie in. Um, Now, what I think of Trick or Treat is I absolutely love this movie. If you want a true Halloween movie, definitely check Trick or Treat out. I think it's very underrated. I don't think enough people have seen it or even heard of it. And you guys need to, if you guys haven't seen it or heard of it, look into it and watch it. Trust me, this is the essential Halloween film. It's one I pop in every Halloween. And sure, you have the Halloween Michael Myers thing going, but only a few of those actually feel like Halloween. This feels like Halloween night. Um, so now, what I think of the different plots, I like that it's more of an anthology film and has four separate things going on because it's kind of, well, it's not. I wouldn't say realistic. Um, you buy into all four of these storylines. Yeah, sure, I like a couple storylines more than a couple of the other ones, but uh, yeah. Um, The principal storyline with Dylan Baker is awesome. That's probably my favorite storyline in the whole movie, personally. Um, the Lori plotline with Anna Paquin's probably really close though. Um, Followed by the Scrooge of Halloween, as I'm gonna call him, played by Brian Cox. That's probably number three on my list. This is my ranking of the plot lines. And fourth is the kids going to the rock quarry. Well, I don't think that plot line was horrible or anything. It's just out of all of them, that's probably my least favorite. But you get invested in all these plot lines. You like most of the characters, so that's good. Um, the gore and the kills, there's really not too many, to be honest with you. It feels like Halloween, and you have all these different types of characters with these different personalities and their own groups um, doing their Halloween thing. And so, yeah, you get to see different sides of Halloween. You get to see different perspectives on how different people might celebrate Halloween. And I've mentioned this before. Halloween is my favorite holiday of all time, and like I go absolutely nuts for Halloween. Um, and yeah, I mean this movie is just great. There's not a lot of kills, but the kills that there are pretty damn cool. They're different, and yeah, so a lot of respect to Michael Daughtry for writing and directing this film because his vision of this is great. And I think it's the behind the scenes stuff is a little weird though. This movie was supposed to come out theatrically. It was supposed to come out in 2007. Didn't come out in 2007. Even though when you look up the release dates, it'll say 2007, but it didn't actually come out in theaters, and it was 2009 when it finally came out on DVD. So yeah, that's kind of weird, but I'm still happy that this film came out. Because I think at one point they weren't going to release it for some reason. I could be wrong. If you guys know anything different, comment down below and let me know down in the comment section if I got that information wrong. But I don't think I did. Um, so yeah, this movie is great. Now, what would I give it? I'm going to give it a grade, then I am going to talk about some of the spoiler stuff. So, but definitely check out Trick or Treat. It is a great film. It's a great Halloween film. You can watch it on Halloween. It feels like Halloween night. Um, yeah, it's just if you, especially if you like Tales from the Crypt, uh, and Creep Show. Though I think those are two good comparisons. Is Tales from the Crypt and Creep Show. Definitely check out Trick or Treat. It's a lot of fun. You'll have a lot of fun with it, and I'm pretty sure most of you out there will actually like it. It's probably one you'll want to watch every Halloween. Now, I'm going to give this film a high A plus because I really do enjoy it. I don't have too many flaws with the film, but now I am going to talk about some spoiler stuff. So you guys are warned. Um, so if you have not seen Trick or Treat, go watch it. Trust me, and then come back and see my spoiler thoughts on it, and then we can discuss spoilers. So Trick or Treat A plus. Now let's get into some spoilers. Okay, so we see this guy throughout the movie named Sam, and we don't know really what Sam is exactly, and he's kind of just there in every storyline, um, which is cool. But there's a lot of mystery there, and by the end of the movie, you know a little bit more about him. And I'm so excited that they're finally doing a second one. I think it's supposed to come out next year. I'm so excited because I want to see where they take it. I want to see what the new storylines are going to be about. Because I know we won't be following the same characters. Sam will probably be the only returning character. Um, but there's this guy. Um, I'm losing my train. I'm losing my train of thought here, guys. I'm long day at work. But there's this guy who's kind of lurking around, kind of stalking Lori and a few other women throughout the movie. He's dressed like a vampire. He's biting their necks. Uh, he's making them bleed when he does it, so he is like a vampire. And then we find out later that it's actually the principal. Um, I might be the only one who wasn't really expecting that. I didn't know. I mean, we knew that Dylan Baker's character was a sick dude, but we didn't really think anything past his own storyline. We didn't think he would actually, do all that, but he did, and so that was a nice little twist that I wasn't really expecting. But probably the biggest twist in the film is that Lori, her sister, and her friends are all werewolves. And they're not talking about having sex with guys. No, they're talking about eating them. Uh, and, yeah, I'm still under the weather, guys. Sorry about that. And that I definitely was not expecting. Uh, yeah, that was just crazy. And in fact, that scene when they're ripping off their skin and Marilyn Manson's "Sweet Dreams" cover is playing, which, by the way, I only like a couple Marilyn Manson songs. I'm not too big on his music, but that is probably the Marilyn Manson song I like the most, and it fits so well in that scene. I don't know why, but when that scene's playing out and that song's playing, you're all into that scene. So yeah, and that's probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. Um, the Rock Quarry Kids, as I'm gonna call them. Well, you find out they're not really there to honor the dead. You find out they're there to prank this girl named Rhonda, who's a really sweet. She's a pretty cute girl. Uh, for that age, I'm not a pervert, but yeah, that was fucked up. But so yeah, that's probably why that's the least of my favorite. Like if I had to rank the storylines, which I did, that's why that one would probably be last because it was kind of a fucked up thing if they did. But that being been said, I do like the history and the story about these mentally challenged kids, um, who are on this school bus, and the bus driver was paid by all the parents to kill them, and uh, at first he wants to, and then like he has a change of heart, and then the kid gets out of the his seat because they're like handcuffed and chained to the seat, and the kid just drives this bus off the quarry and kills everybody, except for the bus driver who gets away, and we really don't know what happened to him. Which brings me to the Brian Cox storyline, the Scrooge of Halloween. It makes sense when we find out that he was actually the bus driver. And so it makes sense of why he doesn't like Halloween. He feels bad for what he was gonna do. He feels bad that all the kids died, even though that's what the parents wanted. He just doesn't like Halloween anymore, and you understand that. And that I thought that was really cool to tie in together. Um, yeah, I think I pretty much covered all the story. Yeah, I did. I covered my spoiler thoughts on all the storylines, but there is one more thing I do want to mention before we go. Um, there's these two characters that you see in the beginning of the film, and they get killed in the beginning of the film, but the movie takes place in all different time periods of that night. Like you'll see earlier, or meanwhile, or it's like a horror comic, and you kind of see those two characters who were killed in the beginning pop up a few times, just kind of bumping into the characters. I thought that was really cool because I'm like, oh, these are going to be the opening kills, no big deal. And okay, this is earlier in the day, sure. But no, you actually see them throughout the movie kind of bumping into these characters that we are following. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So they were, I mean, it's cool. Um, so yeah, Trick or Treat, like I said, I highly recommend it. A plus. If you guys haven't seen the film, uh, check it out. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's a very underrated horror film. Good horror anthology film. I would definitely recommend Trick or Treat. And if you guys have seen Trick or Treat, comment down below. Let me know, what do you think of the movie, and yeah. And what is your favorite storyline of the four that we are following? Like I said, mine is probably Dylan Baker's storyline as the principal, followed by Anna Paquin's Lori werewolf storyline number two. Number three would have to be the uh, the Scrooge of Halloween. Uh, Brian Cox's character, and the number four would probably be the Rock Quarry Kids. Um, so yeah, what is your favorite storyline in this movie? If you've seen it, if you have not seen it, go check it out. And that's all I can say for today. I'll see you guys in the next video.